In 64 AD, a Roman silver denarius was 98% pure. By 270 AD, it was 0.02% pure. That's not a typo. In just 2 centuries, the most trusted coin in the ancient world lost 99.98% of its silver. And every history book wants to tell you Rome fell because of barbarians or Christianity or lead pipes. They're all wrong. Rome fell because of this coin, and once you see what happened to it, you'll never look at an empire the same way again. Let's start with the coin itself. The denarius was the dollar of the ancient world. A Roman legionary earned about 225 denarii a year under Augustus. A loaf of bread cost half a denarius, a liter of cheap wine, 1 denarius. This was the workhorse of one of the largest economies in human history, stretching from Scotland to the Sahara. And for almost 200 years, it held its value. Hold a denarius from the reign of Augustus next to one from the reign of Nero in 54 AD, and they're essentially identical. Heavy, bright, almost pure silver. A peasant in Gaul and a merchant in Alexandria both trusted the same piece of metal. That's the miracle of Rome. Not the roads, not the aqueducts, the coin. Then came Nero. In 64 AD, Nero needed money. The Great Fire had just gutted Rome. He wanted to rebuild on a scale no emperor had attempted, including his own Golden House, a palace so vast it had a 30-meter bronze statue of himself out front. The problem was simple. The treasury was empty. So Nero did something quietly catastrophic. He shaved the denarius. The silver content dropped from 98% to about 93%. The coin got lighter from 3.9 grams to 3.4 grams. Most Romans didn't notice. A denarius still bought a loaf of bread. The emperor pocketed the difference, and reconstruction continued. This is the first domino, and it never stopped falling. Here's the thing about debasing currency. It is the most addictive drug a government can take. Every emperor after Nero faced the same temptation. War on the Danube? Shave the coin. Plague in the provinces? Shave the coin. Need to pay the army a bonus to stop them killing you? Shave the coin. Under Trajan, the denarius dropped to 89% silver. Under Marcus Aurelius, fighting Germanic tribes and battling the Antonine plague, it slid to 75%. Under Septimius Severus around 200 AD, it hit 50%. Think about that. In 140 years, the coin had lost half its silver, and the empire's accountants pretended nothing had changed. But the market knew. Prices started to creep, slowly at first. A loaf of bread that cost half a denarius in 100 AD cost 2 denarii by 200 AD. Inflation, the silent tax, had arrived. Now here's where it gets brutal. In 215 AD, the emperor Caracalla introduced a new coin called the antoninianus. It was supposed to be worth 2 denarii, but it only contained the silver of about 1.5. It was in essence a 33% pay cut hidden in shiny new packaging. Romans weren't stupid. They started hoarding the old purer denarii and spending the new debased antoniniani. This is a phenomenon economists now call Gresham's law, named after a 16th century Englishman, but the Romans were living it 1,300 years earlier. Bad money drives out good. The good silver disappeared into buried hoards. The bad silver flooded the markets. And the empire began to choke on its own currency. By the time we reach the crisis of the 3rd century, between 235 and 284 AD, the wheels come off completely. Rome went through 26 emperors in 49 years. Most were murdered. Each new emperor had to bribe the legions to support him, and the only way to bribe the legions was to mint more coins, and the only way to mint more coins with an empty treasury was to use less silver. The antoninianus in 240 AD was about 40% silver. By 250 it was 20%. By 260 under Gallienus it was 5%. By 270 under Aurelian, the silver content had collapsed to roughly 0.02%. The coins were now bronze discs dipped in a thin silver wash that wore off in your pocket. You could literally watch the empire tarnish in your hand. And the economy responded exactly the way every economy in history has responded. Prices exploded. We have records. A measure of Egyptian wheat that cost 8 drachmas in the 2nd century cost 120,000 drachmas by the early 300s. That's not inflation, that's annihilation. Soldiers refused to be paid in coin and demanded grain, oil, and salt directly. Tax collectors stopped accepting the empire's own currency for taxes and demanded payment in kind. Think about that for a second. The Roman government would not accept Roman money. Long-distance trade, the lifeblood of the empire, collapsed because no one in Antioch would trust a coin minted in Trier. The integrated Mediterranean economy that had taken 3 centuries to build came apart in 50 years. Cities shrank, roads emptied. The villa system in the western provinces fractured into something that looked an awful lot like early feudalism, where local strongmen offered protection in exchange for labor because there was no functioning money to mediate the relationship. In 301 AD, the Emperor Diocletian tried to fix it with brute force. He issued the Edict on maximum prices, a stone-carved decree fixing the price of over 200 goods, from a pound of beef to a haircut. Violators were executed. It was the largest price control regime in pre-modern history, and it failed instantly. Goods vanished from official markets and reappeared on black markets at 10 times the price. Diocletian also tried to issue a new pure silver coin called the argentius. It was beautiful, it was honest. And within a generation, it too was being debased, because the underlying problem hadn't changed. The state was spending more than it could raise, and the only tool it had left was the mint. So when historians tell you Rome fell to the Visigoths in 410, or to the Vandals in 455, or that the last Western emperor was deposed in 476, they're describing a funeral, not a death. The body had been bleeding out for 200 years. By the time Alaric's Goths walked into Rome, they were walking into a city whose currency was already a joke, whose tax base was already in collapse, whose army was already paid in kind because no one trusted the silver. The barbarians didn't break Rome. They inherited the wreckage. They just picked up the pieces of an empire that had quietly dissolved its own foundations, one shaving of silver at a time. And here's why this matters to you, sitting 1,500 years later. The lesson of the denarius is not that empires fall to invasion, it's that empires fall to a quiet, accumulating betrayal of the people who hold their money. Every shave of the coin was rational in the short term. Every emperor had a war to fund, a palace to build, an army to pay. None of them debased the currency to 0.02% silver. They each just took a little. The collapse was the sum of 200 years of small, reasonable, defensible decisions. That's how monetary systems die. Not in a crash. In 1,000 quiet trims you barely notice, until one day you reach into your purse and pull out a bronze disc with a ghost of silver on it, and you realize the empire is already gone. So the next time you hear someone tell you Rome fell to the barbarians, ask them one question. What was the silver content of the denarius in the year it fell? Because the real answer to why empires collapse isn't usually carved into a battlefield, it's stamped into a coin.